Go.
Aloha, motherfuckers! Welcome back to the Gadsden Boys. Concrete 80s here with Colonel Q, Mikey, Galaxy, and Abby's hiding her face somewhere around there.
Howdy.
So, today...
What's first on our agenda?
Oh, God.
Is it
What
on
kind of
your head?
bullshit are we
Somebody
going to
put it
discuss
out?
first? Let's give them some good news.
What anti-government shit are we going to be talking about? I'm sorry.
Let's give them the good news first. 80s, bring the good news. We love Missouri.
Oh, of course we love Missouri. Because,
This time.
well, there has been some minor update, as far as I can hear, on the Second Amendment Sanctuary Preservation Act, I believe is the name. I know some months back the Senate... There we go. Okay. The Senate had passed it and kicked it back to the House, effectively disallowing any federal laws on the Second Amendment to be applied within the state, and giving state agents the authority to arrest Fed boys should they try.
And so what the House, the way I read it, my interpretation was that when it got kicked back to the House, it got kicked back with kind of an amendment saying, so if any federal agency is going to operate in our state for any reason, they have to operate in conjunction with us. And if anyone from a state or federal agency confiscates any firearms, it's found out that that was an illegal confiscation, there will be a list. And if you end up on that list that you illegally confiscate someone's firearms, you can never work in Missouri again.
Wow.
That's my understanding of it. So they get like a pedo list for cops that fuck up.
That's a first. Also, what's up, Dugan?
Hey, what's going on?
What happened? Dugan?
Yep, we got a late joiner. Dugan's with us.
What's up? No, we just started recording. That's perfect timing. How you doing, man?
Doing all right. How about yourself?
Doing all right, bud. Doing all right.
Let's see here.
And 5G has reared its ugly head in New London County, Connecticut. We will all be irradiated shortly.
I just had to
Less worried about that and more worried.
5G fucking rap for AT&T.
Oh, you gotta
Now
love the release of all this 5G stuff, and then cyclical shutdowns throughout the fucking country between Comcast and AT&T and all that good shit.
Yeah.
It's a
But I think
test.
we'll bring that up a little later.
It's a test of the emergency shutdown system.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, of course.
So back to this bill, and what the hell was the name of the other bill that I found that was around earlier this year? Mississippi House Bill 753. So it seems as though we're having a large number of states that are really getting fucking sick and tired of the feds trying to say what can and can't happen inside each of those individual states. This bill, the Interstate Compact on Second Amendment Sanctuary, between Tennessee, Louisiana, Arkansas, Alabama, Kentucky, Oklahoma, West Virginia, Georgia, and of course Mississippi. And they're all very similarly worded when it comes to the effects of the law. So it seems as though these guys are all working things out, because I know Kansas already has one in effect for any gun manufactured inside the state of Kansas. The big difference between that existing law and this one here, the House Bill 753, and the Missouri law. 753 requires it to actually be stamped as having been made. I did not read anything about that in the Kansas law. Kansas, it doesn't need to be stamped. It doesn't need to be marked specially as though it had been made or modified inside Kansas. If you are inside Kansas possessing this weapon, it is not an NFA item and the feds can fuck off. At
So
least that's how I read
basically,
it.
so it sounds like battle lines are being drawn. That's what it sounds like to me.
One can assume it in such a light.
Well, we always said some states would need to be abandoned if this shit ever went on, and it sounds like those states are going to be the ones that, you know, people go to that want to be a little bit more free.
Indeed. We either need to get more of these states in on this sort of compact deal or have each individual state come up with their own law of similar wording.
Isn't that kind of
Especially
the
since
issue,
the
though?
election just happened and a number of states picked up Republican senators and House members inside the state. Go make your fucking calls.
Yeah, well, and I can tell you that shit's not going to happen in the Northeast. Maine and New Hampshire, I mean, they're still somewhat free, but it's getting worse and worse.
Yeah,
You know,
Pennsylvania, I know we picked up a few Republican seats.
you did.
Yep.
Mm.
So, my
Pennsylvania's a
local
shit
district
show.
being one of them.
There's
Oh my God,
lawsuits in
Pennsylvania's a
Pennsylvania.
shit show.
Philadelphia is known for voter fraud. Like,
Philadelphia has allowed the Black Panthers the past 4 elections now, actually 5, to sit outside the fucking polling places and intimidate voters. We're not even gonna fucking touch Philadelphia.
What do you mean? What do you
Not-
mean intimidate
not on
voters?
this
In
one right
which
now.
way? In what way have the Panthers been intimidating voters?
I haven't seen it.
They were standing outside of polling places, threatening fucking white people with weapons.
How?
yeah, that's a new one on me.
Not sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Not sure.
visualize
That's.
this.
I just read the articles on it. I didn't see videos. On the other hand, I did see videos of. God, it's been a while since I've seen this, but it's obviously something that stuck out in my mind because it was, hey, it's here.
Sure. Yeah, no, I've certainly heard of different people standing outside of polls before, but that was a new one for me. I know Chicago's pretty bad on voter fraud. One of my favorite fictional examples of voter fraud of all time was on Gangs of New York. I don't know
Oh,
if you guys
yeah?
have ever seen that, but that's amazing.
Yeah,
Like, how
it
many
is.
times have you voted? He said, I voted twice. He says, go shave your beard and vote again. And kicked
Yeah,
him
right,
out
right.
of
What the fuck, man? Like, you know, can we just look at the Constitution and be honest and vote? Can we just do that? I mean,
Whoa.
No.
Relax.
It's too easy.
However, before we get into that, let's continue with the good news and
continuing
soften
to
the
move,
blows, I guess.
continuing to move to more of the Midwest states and Oregon, where they have decriminalized all drugs. I can shoot speedballs, and it's $100 fine.
Is it open carry up there?
Who knows? Who knows the answer to that question? Is it open carry in Oregon?
I'll check it out 1 second.
Might be muted, bud.
I feel like they're a permitted state, but it's not like a real serious
Weird.
situation. Like open
Yeah,
carry,
it did it to me too. I don't know.
I feel like open carry is allowed, concealed carry, and some other things might be a permitted situation.
Well, I mean,
I mean, it depends on who you
Pennsylvania
are.
is currently in the situation where while we are legally an open carry state, you can't open carry without a fucking permit right now because Cockfight
yourself.
fucking Wolf keeps reissuing these. What you bringing up there, Ab?
According
Oregon,
to
nice.
Traditional open. Okay,
So
beautiful.
you can get loaded and carry a firearm in Oregon. We like
Might be
Oregon.
moving. I mean, you could do all the drugs you like.
I don't even
Sounds
do
nice.
drugs,
All right.
but people that do are entertaining.
that is true. That is true. Some of the funniest and craziest people I've ever met were on
You
one.
don't have to do them. You
What
just
was
sit
it?
there and watch them.
Yeah.
What was it Richard Pryor said? Cocaine makes me a new man, and then he wants some too.
Yeah, you guys should have met me when I was still getting loaded.
I bet you were a fucking prep.
Sounds a tad bit terrifying.
I was a good time. Well, till I wasn't.
I was gonna say, I
was.
I can see Q being the guy. All right, let's go get this fucking job done. 15 minutes
minutes
later
later.
for an hour long job. All right, we're done. Let's go. What's with the next one?
Zoning the fuck out by the time noon comes around.
I used to work for like days at a time. Like I would work at work for 12, 14, 16 hours, and then I would come home, I would get loaded, I'd work all night, and then go back to work until I was seeing weird shit.
Oh, I thought you were about to pull up a picture of Q in his golden days.
Oh, God.
Oh.
He's just being dumb. What the fuck?
In my
God,
personal
everybody-
situation, I can honestly say that prison might have saved my life.
Bitto.
Now, do you think the prison because we had this conversation before on whether or not it benefits the person or if it just teaches you new skills? Do you think that drug rehabilitation would have been a better venue for you?
No, because I've been to rehab too. At that point in my life, I had to be stopped. And it was a series of bullshit charges, but it was very, very obvious that I needed to be stopped. And even in jail, you can get drugs in jail. But
Sure.
because of one of my charges, I went after a state worker. I was held in a high bond area for a while, and that was like long enough for me to get off. I was on methadone, I was on heroin and cocaine and Xanax and drinking. And so I had to like dry out from all those things. It took a good 3 months.
Lord.
So that's one of the caveats of the Oregon bill is that it's supposed to, not only is it supposed to be $100 fine, but you're also supposed to be able to have social services available for drug rehabilitation and whatnot. And that's why I'm wondering, is it a multi-level? Will the drug rehabilitation help, do you think, or is it just the fact that it's not stigmatized as much that's going to decrease drug use? What
It's
do you
not.
think the silver?
It's not going to help anyone that doesn't want to be helped.
That's
Yes,
the
sir.
biggest thing.
That's
yeah.
the ticket. Like
Rehab doesn't work unless you want to change.
right. So
Otherwise, you're just going to pass through it.
prison stopped me on my path, and then I dried out long enough to realize that I didn't want to live like that anymore. And then I got help while in jail, which it wasn't great. Like it was definitely a struggle to get through prison without getting high. And then when I got out of prison, I stayed clean, but I also willingly went to a 12-step program and an anger management and it was an anger management and drug and alcohol program, but it helped me talk about a lot of things. And I went willingly, right? So there has to be some willingness involved,
The first step is you wanting to change. That's the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
Admitting that there's a problem.
Yeah.
Yes.
Admitting that there's a problem.
Shit, after my DUI, that was it. I was done drinking. That did it for me.
Well, even now when I smoke, I'm smoking CBD or CBD. I don't smoke weed. It looks like I smoke a shitload of weed, but I don't.
I like to smoke weed, but I don't like to be like so high that I can't fucking do anything.
Just enough to
Smoke
mellow you
weed
out.
every
That's
day.
it. Like one
Yeah,
hit,
like I'm
two
like
hits,
I take
go
a few
about your
hits
business.
and then go for a hike or take a few hits and go do a bunch of work.
Mm.
Do it for mental shit, not to fucking get blowed out of my mind.
Now, when the
The,
day's over, I might sit back, put my feet up, smoke a joint, and watch a movie or some shit.
I think that's half the thing though, is like with the stigma. Like I know, like I smoked a ton of weed. Like as soon as I was out of my parents' house, I was just like on one. But like I got bored. Like after like not even like 6 months, I was like, all right, like what, like is this it? Like like, but it was just like if I would have been allowed to do it when I was 18 and healthy doses, like I was probably gonna do anyways, as I still do to this day. I mean, I'm strictly for edibles for literally medical purposes. It wouldn't have been as freaking ridiculous. Like, same thing with, I watched a really good documentary on, it's called Take Your Pills, and they kind of dabbled on like microdosing for shrooms and stuff, but it was a major hyper focus on
Adderall.
methamphetamines, or the one that's like right underneath it. Yeah, on Adderall and stuff. And so these kids like can't function without it. And it's just
Me.
like, okay, well, if you're doing it right, like, if like same thing with like drinking or, smoking weed, like if you do it in small doses or in healthy doses, and you don't have to binge because it's illegal or because you can't get to it or because somebody told you no, like it's the whole thing is if it's taboo, then people want it more. It's kind of just the way it goes.
that was totally a part of it for me. And like, I didn't get hooked on
Rebellion.
opiates or like, my addiction didn't go into full effect until I was on oxys. I was on Oxycontin prescribed by a doctor for
I was
surgeries
gonna
on
say
my
you were
eye.
injured or something, right?
I was injured, and that's how my opiate addiction started. I mean, but before that, like I would always take shit to the max, but like I would take like mescaline and acid and shrooms and I did ecstasy, and I would even mix drugs, but like I would do that for 2 or 3 days at a concert, and then I'd come home and I wouldn't do shit.
Yeah,
know.
that's how I would be.
Oh
Like
yeah, I always needed a day
I
to
wasn't
recover.
like I don't think I ever really got addicted to anything, but I did a lot of drugs when I was younger. Like at the beginning, I just like did everything, and then once I
Yeah.
tried it all, I was just like, oh, okay.
Oh,
I'll
Like the
just like
party
do a
uncle.
couple
game
of
that
things.
is.
And
Well,
I'm
then,
bored.
like alcohol, Xanax, opiates, like those things is what really did damage to me, because I started doing that like every day, and then it's a habit, and then your body needs it, and then your fucking brain doesn't know what it's doing with itself. But help doesn't.
God, I'm
Federal
glad I never
improved
did
drug is the
that
one that
shit.
got you fucked up. What?
What? What?
Shit.
Right. I know. The FDA.
Pharmaceuticals.
They were, they were overseeing this whole thing where Oxycontin became this huge problem, which turned into a heroin problem, which turned into a fentanyl problem. And by the way, fentanyl is made in a fucking lab. So how is it that fentanyl is killing people on the streets for the past 2 years being sold as heroin without the ATF, or I'm sorry, without the DEA getting involved, right? Because they fucking know everything. You're gonna tell me
Okay,
they're
last
not
I heard it was
involved?
being blamed on China, but what else is new?
Dude, I had a buddy of mine get fucked up on
That's
a
the fad
bad
right
deal
now.
one time. He was supposed to get cocaine, and they gave him fucking fentanyl, and he fucking died.
Mm.
It will kill you a very small amount.
Yep. Fentanyl is one of the nastiest fucking drugs out there, from what I hear. At least by strength to weight ratio.
Considering how much shit we were shoveling into ourselves in the 90s, I don't even know how the fuck I'm still here. Like,
Yeah,
All right, Mike.
friends who are
Mike,
not.
no matter
That
what you did, Keith Richards did more, and he's still
That's
the
fucking
Yeah. If he can
I'm
make
not-
it, I can make it.
I don't think I've been
Now,
alive long enough to have done as much as Keith Richards.
of course they have to make synthetic things like fentanyl. Keith Richards already did all the drugs. You have to wait until he's dead to smoke him.
Keith or Charlie Sheen.
Oh,
That
yeah,
motherfucker banged
definitely
every
Charlie
dirty
Sheen.
hooker in fucking California and did all of the cocaine.
In California, you're forgetting like New York and Nevada.
Yeah. I bet you he single-handedly spread fucking diseases to whorehouses.
Oh, good God.
God.
Yep.
I think they just call it his house.
That was
I'm gonna
It's
like
just his house.
give a hot take here and say that his brother was hotter.
I could agree to that. I mean, Charlie's pretty fucked up these days. He's fucked up looking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but even back in the day, like
for
Emilio
2.5
Estevez
years.
was a good looking
He
man.
was looking pretty bad then,
Breakfast
too.
Club.
watch they're in Young Guns together.
Yeah.
Yep.
Holy fuck. Flashback.
He
God,
was the he was the one. He looked like a little more what's the word I'm looking for? The opposite of guilty.
Yeah, he looked like
Innocent?
he was kind
Innocent.
of the
Thank you.
Yes.
responsible dude.
You got to remember that word: innocent until proven guilty. Innocent
I've
until
been
proven
guilty. I've been guilty of everything right away. I forgot the word. It's so bad. Like,
Your Honor, I want to plead
I want to plead
Not
not
opposite
guilty.
of guilty.
Whatever guilty is, that's what I'm not.
Yeah,
Alright?
right.
Shit.
Oh my goodness. So we have Missouri and Oregon and a handful of other states that look like that it might go that same way. And I think that's amazing. I think it's long overdue. And I think
well,
that's the only thing that's going to quell a serious amount of civil unrest. People need a safe place to go and feel free.
yeah, for the drug thing, I know New Jersey's one of them. Now, New Jersey didn't take it nearly as far as Oregon did, but I mean, I'll give credit where credit is due. They legalized pot.
Yeah, 2.5 ounces, right?
For recreation. I'm not sure Jersey's amount.
More than I can say for
Come
you.
on, Louisiana.
We keep dropping the ball on the weed game here. Like our
Right.
activists and the people pushing.
I
mean, they're trying again, but
It'll
think
happen.
what we need, I think, much like with the other states that are making the Second Amendment sanctuary bills for the state, we need to get out and publicize it as much as possible. Because this year, I looked it up, and when I went and voted, there was nothing. When I looked it up prior, there was nothing. There were no ballot initiatives at all in the state of Pennsylvania. I'm like,
at all.
every year
What are the
I've fucking voted, there's always been ballot initiatives. What the fuck is going on?
Weird.
Tom Wolf was too busy with the legislation trying to, get Uncle Sniffy in office.
This year they tried to
Yeah,
make it
clearly.
to where nobody could basically get anything on the ballot, like except for people who had a lot of money.
I mean, that wouldn't surprise me
It
if
didn't
that's what
pass,
happened
thank
up here.
God, but thank God and all the other gods and everything else, it didn't pass here.
Thank the universe. So, if I remember correctly, 2011, 2012 was when the first few states decriminalized it, and then it became legal in some states. It became legal for personal use and medicine use.
Colorado.
Yeah, and then
96 was the first time. 96 in California.
96 in California, right. And then Colorado followed in 2011.
Yeah.
Or was it sooner?
I'm pretty sure it was sooner for medical. The first Colorado was the first state in I want to say 2000s. It was early 2000s that did it recreationally, but for medicinal. And then you had SB 420 in California, which was in like 2002, and that was where they started to establish like dispensaries and stuff like that. But the first bill to pass was California '96. I'm not sure exactly what happened after that, though.
Oh, I was having babies and getting loaded in the 90s, so I wasn't paying no attention to any of that.
Those damn
I don't want to talk about what I was doing in the 90s on fucking.
Oh my God. Or who I was doing, for that matter.
God, I couldn't fucking tell you, man.
Allegedly.
So it
I
took
couldn't
that long.
fucking tell you.
Feels so
In the
fucking
90s.
young.
Hi,
to say
Tom.
those.
How is he? How are you being?
You know, so change takes time. It took that long for weed to go from decriminalized in one state to other states where it's legal for personal consumption and you don't, and some states you need a card. You know, like here in my state, you need a card, you need to go see a doctor, you have to have a purpose. Maine was like that until recently. So change takes time. And I think if the states keep heading in that direction, you know, it'll become more popular with the people, and the
Well,
politicians will realize that.
isn't it
Why is it
still a
taking so
problem
long?
that like if like feds catch you with like a gun and weed, that's still a felony though, right?
I
Eat my
mean, that's
dick.
still a felony in a lot of states that have legalized it.
It is here, I know.
Don't
Like you're not
think.
supposed to have the weed.
Somebody's gonna
stand.
rob you because you got weed, bro. You can eat my dick. I'm gonna defend myself.
Dude, I don't know
Yep.
about you, but I'm less likely to shoot someone if I got weed around.
I mean, yeah, but
Well, one, it makes a big scene,
Right.
but two, like I'm super
I'm like, I'll
fucking
share
chill
it,
and
dude.
not
I don't give a
nervous. I'm
fuck.
like, just sit down and fucking smoke this. And
I feel like it's the meth heads we got to worry about, the speed freaks.
dude, those guys are
Yeah.
crazy. Like oh,
And they already don't give a fuck about the
they
law.
were
Like, meth
right.
heads are the most lawless motherfuckers I've
Oh
ever
yeah,
met.
those motherfuckers were cooking in apartment buildings, like an apartment in the complexes. Like I was in like this really contested, shitty end of town at one point over in DFW, and like they would just like catch on fire or explode or whatever, and like fucking apartment buildings just on fire over there, and you're like on the porch smoking a cigarette, like.
Oh, them fucking meth heads.
Dude, we gotta move like real soon, y'all.
Yeah,
They did
those
it
guys
again,
they got no fucks to give, man.
No,
Those
they'll
meth
fucking
heads
fucking
are-
call up all your roommates at work. So they lit the apartment building on fire again. We gotta fucking move,
we
guys.
gotta move. Who's got security
We
for
gotta
the
get
new
the
spot?
fuck out of here.
Well, the day we decided to move, it was because there was a building that had just burned down like the night before, and like this lady had been like just spread across her front room, and like they were opening it, and I was like looking down, and I'm just leaning over the rail, and I'm like, "Mom, that's not my actual mom. That's her nickname." I was like, "Mom," and she was like, "What?" And I was like, "We gotta move."
We got to go.
She was like,
We got
"Why?" And
to
I'm like,
go.
"Don't come out here. Do not come out here."
You don't want to see this. There's bits everywhere. Bits of what? Our neighbor.
That real nice young lady
Oops.
across the way.
Remember that one that never slept?
The worst part was the cops let her boyfriend, who ended up being the one who did it, open the door for them and then just walk off and get on a bus.
But
What the fuck?
he's like, I'm out.
They did eventually catch up to him, but
Yep.
like they just let him walk off.
Deuces, y'all. I got places to be. Can y'all take care of
Yeah,
that?
I was about to say.
I want this fire out when I get home, guys.
Oh, I'll be
Christ
back in 2
almighty.
days.
So I
It was
think
like
Yeah.
I think
craziness.
that, you know, being an addict and having that experience, I think what Abby said and what some other people said was exactly right. Like when something's taboo, like you're gonna do it now, you take
Mhm.
away that. So part of it for me, like when I did different things, whether it be drugs or I used to love to steal shit. You know, there was a rush involved, you know, and that was part of it. I was doing something wrong, and it felt good to do something wrong. And you know, so I think taking away that element is going to, you know, change things. I don't know if it will be for the better at first. And people are going to do drugs. Like I've said this for a very long time.
Oh, yeah.
People are going to do drugs, whether they're legal or illegal. Why not legalize them and try to help the problem instead of, you know, thank you. Can we recognize that drugs won the war on drugs at this point?
Yeah.
For fuck's sake.
Amen. I was
I'm
just
just-
saying that.
I'm so fucking tired
course,
of having
we-
to take prescription fucking drugs, and I just want to fucking smoke a little weed so I don't have to worry about all that bullshit. I'd be fine.
Legalize it.
Yeah, man. You know,
between the industrial prison complex and you know good old fucking pharmaceutical industry, of course they're gonna keep drugs illegal
well,
for
the
as long as
privatized
they
prisons are
possibly
a
can.
problem.
Well,
But
that's one
we
of the
know that.
issues is like
This shit's
we've
fucking with
had
me. Like,
the clean libertarian on not too long ago, and we were talking to him about this stuff, and like one of the things that kept coming up over and over again is you can't get help and you can't get medical aid and shit safely if you're involved with drugs without fear.
Right.
Yeah,
And people
unless
just
you're
die.
unless you're currently fucking overdosing.
then you get free.
Yeah,
Become
you know.
ungovernable, god damn it.
Please.
If
I can't be the only one.
But you can't
I've
get the
always
people
been
can't get the help they
uncomfortable.
need
Fuck that
because
shit.
that follows you, right? So like I'm trying to get a pardon in my state because like that all follows me. My medical
Yep.
record follows me with life insurance. I
Yeah.
couldn't get life insurance for the longest time. Like it affects so much because at that point now you've got a label. And it becomes a problem for your life. I mean, we're getting to a point where, you know, China's on this point system, right? For like reputation. We're getting to that point. When
Some
I
fucking
look
Black
at some,
Mirror shit.
right,
Yep.
Good old
right, right.
social credit scores.
hmm
We've already got all that shit.
We do. It's just like it's like thinly veiled in, you know, things that you participate in. But I don't participate, right? My information is my information. No one told you it was okay to put that shit on a list somewhere. Fuck you. And
I
rant.
didn't sign up for that shit.
Yeah,
Well,
I
mean,
didn't.
now it doesn't even have anything to do with your computers. Like, I know for a goddamn fact that they have like facial recognition and stuff like that, watching people shop and watching how they react to things so they can fucking use it to manipulate us with.
Oh yeah, I mean, dude, that's a big part of this whole fucking mask thing. They're using it to improve their fucking facial recognition. If you've got 90% of your face covered, like even your big shades, Mikey, they ain't gonna fucking help you. Not after all this, because they're learning, they're updating their software to use just your eyes to fucking identify you or just your lower face.
Yeah,
And
but
now
I
they're
wear a
killing
mask
small.
and fucking shades when I go out in public, and usually a hood too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
but
Look
see,
do.
like
then
some sort of fucking Assassin's
they can
Creed
still
character
they can
because
still
that's how they're
identify
gonna
you by your
identify
wallet.
me.
Exactly.
They can,
Regardless, they
they
know
can,
who the
yeah,
fuck you are.
Yeah.
yep.
The reason why I
Even if
hide
you,
my eyes is because of a different thing.
Because they're
why?
cool.
Because of them those pretty amber eyes you got.
No, I don't want to get too tinfoily for you guys tonight.
I mean, go
I've got
for
my
it. That's
tinfoil
what this
hat right
show's
here,
about.
my
As
my
much,
hat's right next to me.
I'll give a simple one of the reasons. It's super simple. Is we're using our eyes are the most unique part of our body, and we are using them more so than our fingerprints, and we are now beginning to use them to lock and to unlock things and to gain access to things and stuff like that. Why on earth would you give that to somebody? That's like putting your keys in somebody's fucking hands.
Absolutely. No, you're absolutely right. I don't use retinal
my
scans for anything.
Fuck.
They-
I have one eye
Protect
that
your fucking
actually won't
eyes.
work for a retinal scan. My eye is so
Nice.
damaged on the right
Wait,
side
what?
it doesn't work.
What?
What?
Why not? Why not?
It was damaged. I got a lime chemical burn in my right eye, and they had to
Ow.
take it out of my head and work on it 3 times and put it back in.
Holy
Oh
fuck.
damn!
Yeah,
That's-
so
that's pretty
yeah,
gangster.
Fun.
yeah, so that's why this you can't really see it on screen. They've done a good job. So it was that or a glass eye. I kind of wish I had gotten the glass eye because that'd be kind of cool, right? Just pop that motherfucker out into the fucking
Boy.
water, right? You're sitting at a
Bitch.
restaurant, just pop that bitch into the water cup like it's an ice cube.
Oh fuck. Just scare the whole
Pop it
motherfucking
out,
joint.
be like, peekaboo, motherfucker.
Yeah. You know,
Hey, like I've seen some of those glass eyes and stuff. You can get like stuff on them. Get like a little fucking black flag or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Little
walk around with
pirate
fucking
Get
shit.
an narco
the
ball
ANCAP
for your
flag on your eye.
Don't
Oh,
do
the
that.
boot flag. I would definitely get one. God, that'd be sweet.
so yeah, so I can't actually use that eye to unlock or lock anything, but I don't do that anyway, and I try to keep my lighting overhead so that my hat always casts a shadow over my face. Because even though my face is everywhere, right? Exactly. You know, like your eyes are you're exactly right, and that's not too tinfoily at all. That's just the truth. There is nothing
Well,
that can't be
The
watched
normies
at this
think
point.
that's crazy sounding.
No.
I mean, dude, we've got fucking satellites that can pick up the type of coin and whether it's heads or tails in your fucking palm.
They
The
can
only
hit a
fucking
fucking
thing
gnat's
they
ass
do
with a rocket.
to your fucking self nowadays is what you got in here and what you got up there. Other
That's
than that, I really just don't give a fuck.
You know, yeah, look, they can launch a missile and hit a gnat's ass with it at this point. Like, technology is so far beyond our comprehension that normies are like, no, there's no way. That could never happen. They would never do that. Well, wake the fuck
The
up.
filing cabinet of all the bullshit government's done to everybody over the fucking last 100 fucking years.
People have a short memory, dude. I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, the
forget.
Tuskegee, they would never do that. And then why did the CDC admitting to putting carcinogens in polio vaccines? Why did the fucking military and the fucking FBI and the CIA commit the fucking
MK Ultra or
Tuskegee experiments?
Yeah.
And all MK Ultra, obviously, and all this other bullshit. It's like
When
it's
all
all
that shit-
out there in plain sight.
And when all that shit went on, you know, the people that were wearing the tinfoil hats, everybody was like, you're crazy, you're crazy.
Am
30
I?
to 50 years later, we know the truth. And they weren't crazy.
When your conspiracy theories are fucking right.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, just like we've all been saying for years, the fucking major elections are bullshit. Oh look, how many states are using a system that was fucking programmed by Democrats?
It was a
commissioned
glitch.
by-
It was a
Commissioned by
glitch,
the
they said.
Clintons. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's a glitch, you say, huh?
Yeah. What was it? It's
Well,
Wisconsin or
convenience.
Michigan? I forget. I think it's Michigan. Between two counties, 25,000 votes misallocated from Trump to Biden.
The
Two
Dominion
counties.
program.
Bruh. How
Yep.
many fucking
Exactly.
misallocated from fucking Joe Jurgensen to Joe Biden?
Oh, yeah, right.
Oh, Pennsylvania.
Well-
Pennsylvania lost 40,000 from JoJo at one point. I'm not sure exactly how many, but I remember at one point she was at 80,000, and then shortly thereafter she was back down to 40,000. So
Oh, I
I
was
was like,
watching
oh,
that.
How do you lose votes?
On the California ballot, they had Jorgensen on the very, very bottom. So there were like 12 candidates, and the first two, of course, were Biden and Trump. And then you had all kinds of people that nobody would be able to remember what their name was, even if they cared to remember. And at the very bottom, underneath the third fold, it said Joe Jorgensen, Jeremy Spike Cohen. And I was like, it's kind of fucked
That
up,
doesn't-
but then
Yeah,
know,
they
belong,
didn't discriminate. They just stole from everyone.
right?
Right.
Look, we all talked about this before the election, probably long before the election. Biden and Harris were getting it. That's it.
Yep.
You know, we knew
This
that was
plan,
going to happen. It's not a fucking surprise.
Yeah,
And
the only way that
so
this isn't
shocked.
happening.
Oh my god.
What?
I said I'm so shocked.
I'm sure
Yeah.
I know. Oh,
The only chance we have of that not happening is the fucking SCOTUS, because the state courts are almost entirely going to fight Trump, because most of them are blue leadership states, whether or not the votes in those states are primarily red. Pennsylvania is a big one. I mean, as I said before, our fucking attorney general. Oh, there's no way Trump can win in Pennsylvania if all the votes are counted. Yeah, okay, okay there, Shapiro.
not for nothing, right? Like, so if the lady says she is going to repeal the like destroy the ATF, we're going to get rid of the ATF. If I'm president, like one of my major missions is to get rid of the alphabet soup. And like you heard that message and you still didn't vote for her. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Oh well, I didn't really think she had a chance of winning.
Right,
But
right,
you'd
right.
rather vote for fucking evil, whether it be lesser or not. I'm sorry. I'm gonna prefer my
Yeah.
fucking liberty and freedom over that, and my fucking moral consciousness over that petty bullshit.
Yeah, I will no
Now,
longer vote with an ultimatum between two people. I will vote on my belief system.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I will admit I voted for Trump, but that's because of a number of things that
Wait,
happened not long before the election.
Well,
I voted
that's
for Bernie.
your business, right? Like we all, like my daughter, my oldest daughter, God bless her soul. I'm glad she went out and voted. She's 20 years old. She voted for Biden, and I almost vomited. But like it
I
is what it
respected
is,
her.
man. I'm proud of her for voting, whether I agree with her reasons for voting or not, like we discussed it. But like I teach my kids to be free thinkers and like, you know, do what you think is right. And she's 20, right? So I don't think she necessarily understands the world the way that the rest of us do that are older, 30s
right.
and 40s.
Yeah.
But like at least she went out and did her civic duty. Like I can appreciate that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
And
I'm proud of
honestly,
her
I
for
got
that.
Respect that and
my
not force your
primary
will
reason for voting
correct.
for Trump. Oh, you go first, Alexi.
Oh no, I was just finishing what he was saying. Like I, respect their right, but not gonna force my will on them, regardless of what they
Yeah.
choose to
Right.
go with.
But yeah, my primary reason for voting for Trump is I wanted to check the machine, because I know last cycle there were a number of machines in Pennsylvania where if you hit Republican ticket, it would transfer the entire thing when you hit calculate vote. I wanted to check if it would do that. Now, I didn't hit full Republican ticket, but I want to make sure that my vote actually counted for Trump. Simply because how many hundreds of thousands of ballots were recalculated in favor of Biden as opposed to being in Trump how they were supposed to be? How many there was well over 100,000 votes tallied throughout the country that I am aware of that legitimately the only vote on them was for Biden.
We
There
know
was no other
it
issue.
doesn't matter how you vote. It doesn't matter how you vote. We know that they're going to put in there whoever they want. It's not up to us. It's an illusion.
Oh, of course.
The fucking
Well,
ritual.
we have a say of who our local reps are, who our state reps are, and
Good
it's a
point.
lot easier, I think,
Yeah.
to be able to. And honestly, New Hampshire has the best system, I think, with like 400 reps on the state side. So you have access to them. You know, like if you're in California, for instance, which has the worst concentration of representation in the nation, it comes down to like, one for every million people for your state senator and one for every 500,000 people for the state assembly. There's no way if you have to have access to your representative if you have a problem, if you have a licensing issue or something like that. So really, it seems counterproductive, but having more reps is the answer. More reps with a lower salary, I think, is really where the answer is.
And we talked about that before. Like,
Yeah,
so the national average is a representative for every 140 people, and it should be a rep for every 30,000 people. So
and
the
like
whole,
I said, it's
yeah,
definitely not even the 140,000 anymore, simply based on the number of people that it would have to be. We've got, what is it, 432 or something along the lines of the House of Representatives.
Yes.
well, and so a lot of us,
We barely have one rep per million.
right, and that's and so for many of us, right, we really want smaller government, less government involvement in our daily lives. However, I think the way our society has grown, more may be the answer, and it make it public service again, right? Like make it
More
public
mem-
service again.
I mean, fuck, dude. They get paid way too damn much, and they don't do jack shit.
Nothing for nothing,
Yeah,
but I make more.
they legislate they make more and more laws, nonsensical bullshit laws, just to justify their being in office. No, dumbass, that is not your job. You don't make laws to justify your paycheck. And I'm perfectly okay with them being paid, like I had said last time. Because if they're actually representing you and they're doing that as their job,
Sure.
which they ought to be, they should not be focusing on trying to have another job elsewhere. Because their primary concern is representing their constituents.
Well, they should get paid if they actually fucking do that.
And
Yeah,
and I think
they should. And in addition to, or not really in addition to, but in conjunction with, I guess, if they're in for a certain cycle or a certain number of cycles, and their constituents are considerably, a considerable majority of their constituents are unhappy with their performance, they should be required to give back everything that they made. How's that sound? That sound reasonable to you guys?
That and limit the term.
Yeah, term limits for sure. Well,
Oh yeah, no, term limit.
let's hope that. I mean, it sounds like some of the states are starting to get the message, and let's hope that that's a trend that continues. You know, change always is going to be slow. It took us a really long time to get here. It's going to take us a long time to get back. When I talk to different people,
Doesn't have
you know,
to.
one of the things that comes up a lot is like, so it took 10 years for me to fuck my life up. It takes, you know, twice as long to walk back out of the woods as it did to walk in. Like it's going to take time.
We
And
have that much time.
ugh,
well, what do
you know,
you think about like
Doesn't
California?
have to be slow.
California presented a bill that legalized voting for 17-year-olds for special elections and primary elections as long as you would turn 18 before the general election. What do you guys think about that?
I think honestly, our society, the way it's become, like you're still too immature at that age to be able to,
Yeah.
you know,
I
like,
mean, it's good to get them involved when they're younger,
yeah, but maybe it shouldn't
but
count.
I
yeah,
don't know.
like
If you're old enough to make money and be taxed in any way, you shouldn't be able to vote because otherwise it's
Taxation without representation.
Agreed. But you know,
Well, I'm
so
Well,
50
you
18.
can
and
get
I
a
think
job at
18
15,
is appropriate.
16.
the thing is,
Shit, I was
how
working
many
at 14.
15, 16, 17, even 18, 19, 20-year olds are out there actually working anymore?
I mean,
They're
it
not.
depends.
Working at
There's a
14.
if you're fucking working and making money and shit like that though, and spending money and being taxed, and you're fucking 15 or 14 or 16, you should be voting, because otherwise it's taxation without representation, and we need to start throwing some tea.
I could agree to
Well,
that.
see, the
I could agree to that.
Same.
yes and
Same
no. It depends on your
people-
source of income. If you were actually out there working, yes. But like there are a number of countries out there that have continuously been testing on and off UBI. Brought you back in, Abby. So you should be good now.
The Biden
Hashtag
memes.
no regrets.
Yeah.
Um,
Hashtag Uncle
but
Sniffy.
like if you're getting income from UBI, you're still actually getting taxed. If you're getting Social Security from disability, you're still getting taxed. If you're getting welfare, you're still legally speaking getting taxed, no matter what age you are. If you're getting from those sources, then no.
Well,
should not.
yeah, obviously.
Taxation is
About
theft.
people, I'm talking about people who are working. Isn't it kind of weird to be taxed if you're living on welfare though? Because like that's like a really odd kind of circle jerk.
They're just
around.
taking money back that they're giving you. Like,
Taking it back that they
Kind
give
of
you.
weird
Like,
to
just
be
goes
punched.
around and
fuck?
around.
Welcome
like
to our
that's like
fucked
giving
up.
a poor person $10 and then coming back and just taking all
Yeah, I
the
need a
change
dollar
up
of that back,
later or
please.
something.
Yeah.
You know, I
You
like
have $10 to spend here at the grocery store. Whatever you do not spend out of this $10, I get back.
you know, I gotta tell you, I am happy with what they did in Maine with the welfare system, right? So like they instituted drug testing and you had to go do a job search, just like if you were on unemployment. And they would help you get training and they would help you do all these things, but like you had to provide a drug test. You know that their unemployment went down and their welfare went down by 60% in less than 2 years.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
I don't think that that's unrealistic. Like, if you're gonna ask for help from the state, like you should be getting your shit together because it's help. It's not, there's people that
And at
generations
this
have
at this
lived on
point, I'd
welfare.
rather live in a fucking
Generations.
box than get help from the state. I don't care. I would live in a goddamn hole.
As an
I mean-
addict, I got free health care and a check if I didn't work. That's insane. That's insane. That should never be the case.
And you got other people out there busting their fucking ass just to provide for their family, and they're barely making it by.
Right. Yeah, no, the system here in Connecticut is very, very socialist, and it's very, very geared towards like we'll help you for your whole life as long as you can keep recertifying that you need help. But
Yeah.
most of those people, a lot of them in a lower, socioeconomic situation will keep having children. Those people, a lot of them didn't finish high
Well, of
school.
course,
They came
'cause
from, it's like, and
the,
they're,
the,
they
the
don't
more
have
wants
kids you
jobs.
have, the more
rely
welfare
on-
you get.
Right.
They want
So,
Pop another kid out, that's another $1,000 a month.
right. And it's sad that generations have lived like that because like that's what their parents did. Right. So it became, maybe dad would work, but dad worked for cash or he sold drugs. Right. And mom, she got low income housing and a welfare check every month.
But
Fuck, they used to
everybody
make
should
rap
work for
songs
silver.
about it. Rappers would make rap songs about it. Come on,
mean,
man.
They
On the other
encourage
hand,
this shit.
if you're intentionally doing it to milk the state, and you're using it for like praxis, I'm kind of okay with that.
For what?
I mean, like if you're trying to like, I don't want to get into detail. Like, what if, say, somebody was, and this is not me because I don't take any fucking aid because I'm a stubborn ass
Hypothetically
professor
speaking.
fucking guy.
Hypothetically speaking.
Hypothetically speaking, I may or may not know people who take state aid and then use it to fund either activism or anti-state movements and shit like that.
Oh yeah, use their money against them. Sure, I'm for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I think that's a great way to do it, and you're fine. I'm fine with that. Go ahead, do it all day. Because they're stealing that from people anyways, use it to bring them down. I'm not saying like go build bombs or anything. I'm like go feed homeless.
No, I get it. I think we get it. But
Yeah,
like
go,
if
go
you're like
illegally feed and house the homeless.
Yeah. Like
Do what they're
save
not
up, buy 3D printers, and go 3D print homes for the homeless.
nice. Yeah, I mean, but
You don't even
seriously,
have
like if somebody needs help and they want help and they want to get training and they want to do something with their lives, by all means, we should help them get there. But at some point, if you're just gonna sit around getting loaded all fucking day, you shouldn't get that help. And I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of it.
They don't want to do that. They want you to be reliant on the government.
They do. They
Yep.
do. And they create this thing like, okay, I have been in some super poor areas and situations too. And like I ended up like helping a lot of people like beat the gap. But we call this thing the gap. And there's this area, right, where you can't actually receive aid anymore. But without the aid, you can't actually afford to live. So they take the aid away and then you slide back down and then you need the aid again. And it happens to
Right.
people over and over and over again. And it's worse for families than it is for single people.
Oh yeah,
Bro,
it's
that's
it's
just
like that in just
literally
about
They
every
will
fucking
state.
use your family
happening
to
in
shackle
TV.
you to the state because you can't
Yep.
let your family starve.
Well,
And I
I'll
will
tell you,
fucking
however
work
they did.
day and night to be able to fucking provide for my family versus
Oh yeah,
fucking relying on the government.
yeah,
I
no, for
won't.
sure. Me too. But I mean, I'm proud of Maine. However, their system works. Unemployment went down, and relying on the welfare system went way down. And so that means that people went to work. People
Yeah.
went and got better lives. And I think that's the system that should be in place, not this system of like, oh, you got no money here, here you go, you're all set.
Well, I mean,
Yep.
but there certainly has to be jobs for people to go to. Part of the problem
Yeah.
is that we've, internationalized, globalized, excuse me, trade, and we have everything being made in China right now. It's certainly not going to get any better with Joe Biden as president. So we need to have things to make at home, right? And I guess the easy thing is to grow weed. That's why every state's legalizing it, because that's what you do whenever you're broke. You sell drugs, right?
Fuck
Yep.
yeah.
Well, I'm
No
fucking
comment.
I
half.
mean, shit. If
Run guns, sell drugs, bail
if my
sluts.
family
Fuck
had a
the
big
law.
political name, that's exactly what I'd be doing right now. Because in the state of Pennsylvania, there's I think half a dozen permits. At least that's the number I heard when we first legalized it for medicinal use. There
Oh,
were
it
half
costs
a
tons of money.
dozen
It's only for the
permits.
rich. Only the rich get to
Yeah,
partake in
of
this.
course.
Yeah.
That's
Fucking
what I'm
It's
saying.
nonsense.
still that way though.
If my family had a large political name, I'd be growing weed right now. Like I'd be sitting on fat fucking stacks, not renting a little tiny fucking room,
Like a
and I'd
dog treat.
be
They wiggle in front of you while they
oh
fucking
yeah, of course.
fucking have at it, and you got people in fucking prison that are still fucking suffering from the bullshit.
Well, they need to keep all the hamsters running on their little white market hamster wheel so they can keep the money pumping into the taxes, the tax caches, so they can keep their fucking giant fucking war machine going and they can keep their fucking claws
Keep
and
it in
arms.
that upper circle all together.
Yeah, I
Fuck
think
Yep.
one of the
everybody.
only major ways we're gonna fucking break free is to refuse to participate in this kind of fucking
Let's
thing.
hope some of these states that are going the way of Oregon and Missouri, let's hope that they incentivize, bringing manufacturing back to those states as well. Because if
Oh
that
yeah.
was incentivized to bring it back to our country, then a lot more people would have jobs. And granted, like, Yeah, manufacturing's not the best job, but it's a job. And then we would make our own goods again. I mean, that's what we did, and it worked out great.
But they're
Most
not gonna do
manufacturers
that
aren't just
though.
jobs; they're fucking careers.
Yeah,
Right.
but they're not gonna
A
do
lot
that.
of those
because it's
places
a
you
big
worked
business.
there for life because they fucking took care of you.
Not anymore.
These days, jobs.
No,
Yeah, I mean, we
that
went from
was
the Industrial
before
Revolution to
SSI.
where we
That
went.
was
Yeah,
that was
we went
back
from
when
the
we had
Industrial
pensions
Revolution
then.
to where everybody got treated like shit. Unions were necessary to protect the worker from fucking Pinkerton and all these motherfuckers. Then the 40s, 50s, 60s came along, and everything was fucking fantastic. Everything was
Well,
everybody was making buku money. I'm speaking financially.
okay.
I'm saying it went downhill.
So when they
And then the 80s,
incentivized,
90s, NAFTA and all that shit came along, and well, we're back to before the fucking Industrial Revolution here, where everything's all just
well, they
fucked.
incentivized corporations to move out of the states. Like our government literally incentivized it. And that's just
Oh, I know.
disgusting. You know, that's disgusting. Like, what were they thinking? Like, we can't all be the 1%. Like, what the fuck? Why? Because
They
you'll
weren't
make more money?
thinking because they don't think about us. They never have.
No, we live in a very
The only
selfish,
time they
self-centered
think about
society.
us is when we're starting to get out of control and they need to find a new kind of opiate for their masses, a new flavor of propaganda to throw at us.
We literally live in a
God,
society
I'm in a
full of
mood
addicts.
tonight. Sorry. I'm just like so
More,
cranky.
They're
more is
addicted
not
to
enough. We have the disease of more here in America.
Yep.
It's never enough. Nothing's ever enough. Not enough
I'm
money.
addicted to liberty, and there's never enough of liberty and freedom.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
down
I
with
mean,
that.
that is
Touche.
one exception I will make, but outside of that, too much is never enough. I mean, like,
Open road.
yeah, more roads. I watched countless fucking channels on YouTube, like Thoughty 2. Thoughty 2 had an episode on 2 days ago about
Thoughty 2.
the fucking light cartel.
He has had some very
How,
interesting ones.
yeah, how GE and all these other companies realized they're losing considerable amounts of money selling light bulbs because they're making them last too long.
Yeah.
Right, right.
That right there is how we got to the fucking disposable society we have today, where
Well,
oh no, my
had
phone
that.
broke,
We
throw
could
it
have all
away,
had
as
one of
opposed
those
to
light bulbs that has been fucking, how long has it been fucking burning? It's still fucking lit in a building from back in the day.
in the firehouse in California.
Yes, in the firehouse thing.
He brought that one up. I
That's
mean, it's still going well
insanity.
over 100 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the coolest part is that's considered cheap compared to how it could have been made, and it would have lasted even longer because one of the first guys to actually make durable light bulbs made the filament out of platinum.
Ooh.
Well, I can tell you, even
As
from like the standpoint where I'm at, like I do boilers all the time. Boilers used to last 50, 60 years. They last 10.
oh yeah,
They last 10 now.
yep.
Like literally my customer says, how long is that boiler going to last? Like the last one lasted like 20 or 30 years. Well, 10 to 15. And they're high efficiency and, you know, they're pushing them. They're giving rebates on them. Why? Because they're going to have to replace them in 10 years. I'm
Yeah.
already starting to replace them. All these new
Yep.
high efficiency boilers.
Let me see here. I actually came across some that were supposed to be for like rated for like 20 years, and I was pretty fucking surprised.
And see, they've pushed all that craftsmanship and hard work that people used to put into shit like that out. to where
I
everything's
mean,
cheaply fucking made, and it goes to where you fucking consume, spend more and spend
Yep.
more.
yeah, at this point, only rich people can afford to have like handcrafted shit, or people who know people. I mean, like, if you know people who craft all the time, then sure, you can get that kind of shit, but like, your average person is doing the full on mass produced pile of shit.
I'd rather
This is
build my
why
own
everybody needs to know somebody.
Join the
network.
SCA, the Society for Creative Anachronisms. They do historical recreation. They make things, and I mean like with their hands. Like sometimes they even fucking make the tools and stuff like that.
The few that are
And
still
I'll
proud,
teach you how.
yeah, the few that are still proud to fucking put that kind of work into shit.
Yeah, I mean, dude, if I had a fucking forge, holy shit.
Oh man,
I actually know a dude with a forge. It's fucking that stuff's cool. I wish I had that shit. I don't know what the hell I'd do with a forge. Probably light something on fire.
That's my
wow.
next toy. I
You
want to
know
get a
what?
forge. That's my
We'll
God,
next
set
I've
me up
got
toy.
a
some
room
fucking
on.
ideas.
We'll set me a. We'll set me up with a room on your property. I'll get a proper fucking forge set up.
Yeah, you
Let
can
me
start.
start with the bulldozer there.
That's right. I got an 82 Chevy square body that's safety green. It's a flatbed. It's an old wrecker. And I
This
definitely
is
want to do
nice.
something cool with that truck. As soon as that truck's out of the garage, I want to get a forge. I want to learn how to make swords and knives and whatnot.
Damascus steel.
That shit is art, man.
God, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, Damascene steel is gorgeous. I love it.
So
We're
far,
all sitting here just thinking about it.
I know. Yeah.
Oh
All the
yeah,
cool
yeah. I
shit I
mean,
can build.
I got to
Envision so
put
much
this
already.
down. I'm getting too distracted.
If only I had the money.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, so I mean, so far we've talked about Missouri and Oregon and some of the 2A, some of the states making drug laws and 2A laws that are common sense. They're working in the right direction. But also to me, I think that they're drawing battle lines and they're saying, look, um, we know that our people have had enough and it's got to stop somewhere. And I think that that's the beginning of hopefully that revolution, and hopefully that'll start moving into other states. We know that we can't elect a president. We've known that for a while, but now we're all saying it out loud. They will get whoever
Some
they
of
want
us.
into office. Bottom
Yep.
line. Bottom line. Doesn't matter who the fuck you vote for. It's whoever they want. And I
Yep.
think we can all agree
I mean,
that
Well,
last
they were
election, they
still.
obviously wanted Hillary, but they kind of just let it pass because they were like, all right, you know what? If we actually force the issue and put Hillary in, shit's gonna
Oh,
go
that would.
sideways. People are gonna freak the fuck out. So we'll let them have Trump for 4 years, and then we'll rig that, and then we'll rig the election for. I'm sure they were probably already fucking thinking of Biden back then, if hadn't already decided on him.
Yeah.
Well, he was a shitty choice. Good lord. Like, everybody's confused about it.
So many
The
better
left is
fucking
kind of like,
options.
what?
Oh my god. That's the point. That's why they didn't choose any better options. Though to be fair, better is a very subjective word.
now
When it comes
and
yeah.
Hillary is supposed to be on trial, right? She was just talking about running
She's
for
not going
office in
on
New York.
trial.
I know, but like treason, murder. Come on, man. Like,
Why the fuck is she not wearing a bright orange fucking jumpsuit sitting in jail somewhere?
Georgie and
Well,
his homies would have been
Because
stacking
they were all
bodies
on the
by
same
now.
damn team.
you've killed kings for less.
Yeah, exactly.
No one's got any balls anymore.
I don't know how we got so complacent.
We
I
got
don't
distracted
understand.
with
Uh-huh.
our happy little lives.
Because
TV.
as Pepe the Frog is one of our most prominent symbols. They
Hoppity.
threw the frog in the pot of cold water and slowly turned it up. That's what's been happening.
Distraction, money, media, TV, phones. Galaxy was just
Or
talking about this disposable society. They keep us busy chasing our fucking tails, filing paperwork,
oh yeah,
paying
we have to
taxes,
replace things.
going to work.
We have fees. We have rent. We have mortgages.
We have
Yeah,
so much shit to do that we can't pay attention to
you,
anything else
you gotta
just to
you
make
gotta
our
take
lives
care
comfortable.
of your family. You can't afford to have a revolution.
Right.
Yeah, they're so tired.
Shit. Mm-hmm.
Well, in order to actually realize what's going on, you got to watch multiple fucking like sources of media and actually dig through
Every
the stuff.
angle.
Yeah, and like, you know, I'm naturally suspicious, so I watch all different fucking news and shit like that. Not because I believe in them, but because I want to know what they're fucking telling people. And
Yep.
See
like,
which one's lying. And
they don't have time to do that though. Do you know how much fucking time I spend like just letting the news play or watching
God,
or reading or do you know how much fucking time I put into that shit?
I literally have like
I do.
multiple sleepless nights a week trying to stay
If
on
I
top of the shit.
if I didn't do shit the way that I did, I wouldn't have time. That's for damn sure.
I give
Yeah.
up,
Exactly.
man.
I mean,
I got a family and a business to run. I can't, I can only ingest so much. And a lot of it's done while I'm driving. I just put it on the fucking speaker and listen, because I don't have time. I don't have time. I just don't.
Like with Mike's podcast, every morning I'm on my way to work after I get my coffee. That's the first thing I do
We
now.
haven't been talking about news this week. We've been kind of stuck on
Bullshitting
veterans,
around, but I'd rather fucking listen to you guys than a fucking news media station over their stupid ass bullshit.
oh yeah. I mean,
I like to listen to something that's real. It's real people talking.
as a prime example, there's no conservative media out there that isn't alt media anymore. Even Fox is fucking done.
All right, all left.
I mean, they're not. There's no alt right. Period. They're all fucking either left or alt left.
They
Take
work
your
together.
pick. Yeah, of course. I mean, all the major media is completely fucking off their fucking rocker anymore. I mean, like I said, even Fox is censoring Trump, outright shutting him down, outright shutting down fucking Kayleigh McEnany. I believe that's how you say her name. They just fucking fired Janine Pirro. They fired Judge fucking Napolitano last year already,
although you
or
gotta
2
be
years back, something
mindful.
like that.
Just because like we're all turning towards independent media does not mean that independent media will not lie to you.
True that.
Oh no,
There's
absolutely.
plenty
But
of
I'm saying,
that.
I mean, you've got to
oh, of
follow
course.
independent, or like me, I follow every fucking thing, and I take what I need to and go and make my own fucking determined, educated decision.
Take all the pieces and
Yeah.
put it together in a little 3D scene.
No, of
Well,
course.
you've got a
Figure
lot
it
of
I mean,
reporters. You had a lot of reporters and CEOs stepping down as all this has been going on, and
No.
saying like, we're not going to be a part of this, which I applaud those motherfuckers,
Yeah.
because they left high paying jobs, their careers, and said, I refuse to be a part of this. Not very many, granted, but there were some.
Yeah. I mean, Tucker is one of very few people that is capable of being remotely honest on the MSM
Yeah.
anymore.
Tucker, I don't know what
And that's only because Tucker is the most watched fucking broadcaster on any news station. That's the only reason Fox lets him stay.
Well, yeah,
Well,
he can do whatever he wants. And he doesn't do it all the time because a lot of times he fucking opens his mouth and I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
Well, he's almost like
Eat
he's almost
something.
like Howard Stern
Um,
was before Howard Stern was a
Yeah.
fucking
But like
sellout.
every once in
Yeah.
a while, he does some like really based shit or says some really based shit, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I wish that he would stick to this. But I
yeah,
mean,
every so often he'll have a Judge moment.
I remember the
not
day
Dr-
he
not
had
Drudge, because Drudge is a fucking sellout piece of shit too. Now I hear.
back when it was still
But
pretty controversial. He had like doctor who had studied like marijuana and stuff, kicking back to the drug rules and stuff, or the drug conversation, come on his show. And he was like, isn't marijuana all these things? And he lists out all this shit that's like been debunked and stuff like that. And the doctor is just like,
think of
and
what?
at one point he stops him. He goes, Tucker, and interrupts him and shit. And eventually Tucker just stops and he's like, whoa. And the guy's like, Tucker, all that stuff's been debunked now. And he's like, what? I don't understand. You have to explain. And like, he basically gave the
Yeah,
rest of
I'm
the show to this dude and let him just fucking tell everybody about cannabis, which was pretty cool.
okay. So something like that, I'm sure, was entirely a setup.
I don't
Like
know,
he's
man. He looked
probably
really
he was
fucking.
probably
He did
dude.
look
He's good at
genuinely
acting. He's fucking good at
maybe,
acting though.
maybe. I don't know. You
Because
think he'd
something like
intentionally
that,
make himself look like a moron when all the other conservatives are still anti-weed? Because this was before it was okay everywhere.
it wouldn't surprise me.
You know what's funny is most of the conservatives I know smoke hella weed.
Uh-huh. You're not allowed to talk about it though. That's inside talk, buddy.
Yeah, it only happens behind the garage at family picnics.
Well,
Fuck
But
that.
I think that that scenario there was probably staged because Tucker was probably like reading off the CDC list of effects that weed gives you. You know, the green rage and all that good bullshit.
he didn't get that crazy. He was just thankfully he didn't get that crazy. Like if he'd have gotten that crazy, I wouldn't have even made it that far through the episode.
The devil's lettuce. Remember the
Because like
devil's
when he
lettuce?
starts off on something like that, I'll flip it to the next one. I'm like, fuck it, I'm not doing this today.
I don't need that
Not
There's
negativity in
not
my
enough
life.
marijuana in the world to handle this shit. Next.
So, guys, if we had to add to the bills that were written and the states that are decriminalizing and also keeping their 2A rights and keeping the feds out of it, what do you think we would say to that? Like, what would we add to those bills if we were on the, in the House or Senate or on the legislation that was passing these bills? Like, what would we add?
Well, obviously,
abolish income tax for one.
Ending asset forfeiture for
Well,
civil cases.
We're talking about just the bills in question, right?
Yeah.
So the decriminalization of all drugs, the 2A laws, Missouri saying, hey, we're not going to deal with your federal 2A laws, like keep that shit. What would we add if we were in those same situations with these lawmakers? I'm just curious, like, what would we add?
I mean, really, decriminalize all drugs is pretty succinct and pretty much hits the nail on the head.
Well,
That covers
clear
It's still a
effectively
fine.
everything.
It's still a fine.
and let everybody go.
I mean, get rid of the fine too. Completely decriminalize it. Done. Like there is no
Unkidnap
criminal
all the
penalty.
people.
Period. Well, that's obvious.
Yeah, because why should the cops be wasting their time with giving out bullshit fines for possession?
Yeah, but fines are
Yeah.
typically civil. They're not typically criminal. They're fine.
Expungement of all the records of people that have been arrested solely for those crimes.
I'm with you there.
Non-violent
Honestly,
offenses.
if we want to get rid of systemic racism, we're gonna have to get rid of all gun laws and all drug laws. Probably sex ones too.
Well, yeah. I mean, sex work is just fucking work that people want to vilify because somebody's selling their body. Guess what? How many fucking chemicals have we breathed in throughout the years as laborers?
Yep.
Guess what? We're selling our fucking bodies.
Yep.
Just ain't sticking our dick in someone to get paid.
You know,
The vitality of our bodies is still drained by the work. It's
Yeah, I mean,
you
if
know,
it's
just
in
because
that
we're
way, you might
physically
actually get
producing,
something out of it.
yeah,
And
just,
like-
just because we're physically producing something doesn't mean that it's any more or less beneficial to society than somebody who needs to dip their wick and has to pay up to do so.
yeah, right. Well, look, and some people prefer that way because, you know, they like to be alone, but they still, you know, want to get a piece. Like, but that's not our business, right? So
Right.
I think the one thing, because not all of us even here on the show agree with everyone else about everything, but I think we can agree that like guns, drugs, sex work, taking the money that they take from us, understanding that there has to be infrastructure in our society, the money that they take from us should be allocated to where it's supposed to go. Tolls for the roads. You know, like, what's that?
Yeah, I think we should be voluntarily doing it. I don't think that they should be.
You
I
should
think
choose
they
where
should
it
be
goes.
We should
Yeah,
choose where it goes, right?
taxes definitely shouldn't be going into a whole fucking
So,
pot.
so we agree that there has to be rules, but it just shouldn't be what it is now. Like
Burn
there's
it
got to
down
be
and
some
start
kind
over.
of rules, or
It
else
depends
it'd
on
be
what you mean by
insanity.
rules, because I don't believe in rulers.
Yeah, I was about to say we should
So-
also at this point, since
I'm
the
like,
topic
at the
has gone to
beginning, you
that.
had me. When you started getting into the structure shit, I'm like,
Okay, so for sex workers, right?
define that.
Remember,
So I agree with what they do outside of Vegas with sex work. You have to get, you know, you get a paycheck and you have to get, you know, STD tests from time to time, right? Isn't that part of the deal?
Well, I mean, yeah, but if you don't, you just end up working on the corner anyways.
Well, okay, but if they
The
supply the
paycheck.
STD tests, you're not paying for them, then I think that that's a good rule to have, right? Because you're protecting that human and you're protecting the other humans that they're sleeping with. I don't think that's a bad
Yeah,
rule per
it's
se.
like it's basically completely legal in Mexico, and all they require of you is that you have a little card that says you've gotten tested within a certain period of time.
And I don't think that's too much to ask. There's some rules that I could agree with. When we talk about infrastructure, there has to be some money for
I
infrastructure,
mean, there
but
might be a
we,
little more to it. I'm not sure, but
well,
Yeah,
all right, at this point, we should bring up the definition of anarchy. It is no rulers, not no rules.
yes,
right,
but
right.
Just
depends on.
just to avoid anybody freaking out. Oh my God, they just want to blow up fucking society. They just want to watch the world burn. No,
Oh, I know. They think
Yeah.
you believe
anarchists
in the
just want to
net.
burn everything down and like destroy shit.
Relax.
That's
Man,
not it,
relax.
dude.
Should crowdfund our
want everybody
crowdfund
to
our
live their
social
life
issue.
the way they want to fucking live it.
Yeah, live however you want,
Judgment
man.
or government overreach.
No masters, no rulers. We didn't say anything about any rules.
Well, you know, I think some are important to have like some light rules, but you know,
Well, yeah, but that's up to you and yours.
Yeah.
it's got it right. So the
mean,
Whatever's
people get to
happening there.
decide together what
Yeah.
those rules are,
Your
not like the system we
commune,
have now.
your pack,
Creed.
your
A
tribe,
creed, not
yard.
laws or rules.
In an ideal society, for instance, the infrastructure would all be taken care of voluntarily. I know that humanity can't understand that concept as of yet, but
Well, I don't know.
my
We're doing it a
ideal, and
lot with
I don't.
GoFundMe, Kickstarter.
Shit, man. You've got fucking
Yeah,
Louisiana roads that are
but I
just
mean,
Well-
GoFundMe and Kickstarter and a lot of that shit goes for really stupid crap that is
Yeah, well,
completely and
let
utterly
him drive on
unnecessary.
shit roads for a fucking year and see what happens.
Well, we talked
Yeah,
about
I know. I mean,
Have you been to
being
Louisiana?
in the furry community, there are so many people that are rich lefties that put out fucking GoFundMe's to get fursuits.
Who's a furry? Are you a furry?
I am.
I fucking love you.
What?
I mean,
God,
I
I
just said
thought
I
I was
am.
gonna
So
get the opposite. Are you a
Listen,
furry?
I got to get my wife
Yeah,
on here with you
furries
because
unite.
my
Furs
wife
for
will be
liberty.
so intrigued by you, Mike.
Furries for liberty.
I'm telling you, my wife
Oh,
will instantly
no.
fall in love.
I never knew that about you, Mike.
What?
oh, come on, you
Not that I
can't
look
tell.
at you any different, not at all. It's just I never thought I'd fight alongside a furry.
Well, Mike's in it,
You're a
man.
meme,
Listen,
buddy.
you got to wear that suit. You got to wear the suit.
I
The
actually
boot kicks
prefer
off.
Then
You got to wear the suit.
doesn't that
latex, so
make you a little?
I like actually
You're a
like
chipmunk, aren't you?
gluing shit on. No, actually, I'm one of those weird ass alien hybrid things. I'm like 5 different animals with like Lisa Frank coloring, and there's sparkles that just like kind of hang around me.
Respect.
As long as there's antennas that you can use like braids, I'm in.
I like come straight into
More
the room
predator shit.
on something and go woo.
Ew.
Oh, what have I
That's
done?
cool, man.
Why
Like,
did I bring this up? No.
free. Yeah, but no, it brings up a good point. Like, free to live how you want without judgment. Like, I'm
Yeah.
probably almost like in some ways the complete opposite of Mike, right? However, like that's cool. Like we're friends. There's no
just about
judgment.
every
Like,
way.
who gives a
I'm
shit?
gonna love you regardless.
We don't
Right,
have to do the same
exactly.
shit. We can
Like, why
still
can't
sit
we
around
just
and
do
talk
that?
at least for several hours every week. No,
Yeah.
like I think you're all really cool guys, and
Well,
gal, and I think that like it's amazing.
Hey, did you
how
just
many
assume my
different
gender?
kinds of- and
Sorry.
non-binary pals, dudes, gals, and
Other.
non-binary pals.
yeah, but hey, listen, don't forget, we're alt-right racists, guys. Okay?
I
Of
got
course.
called a Nazi today, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
The fuck?
Get called a
Total
Nazi?
opposite of a Nazi,
Hell, I know
dude.
that's
I don't know what the fuck
bullshit.
you're talking about.
You, out of all of us, getting called a fucking Nazi.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really odd to me because usually I get accused of being like, Antifa or something. They're like,
I
"Are
was
you Antifa?"
gonna
And I'm
say
like,
he's more like a little
"No."
Antifa
But I
gremlin.
mean, I
There
don't
is-
like
Yeah.
fascists, but depends.
I've heard of a lot, but a furry Nazi is not one of them.
Those exist.
Oh, they exist.
They exist.
I believe
exist.
it.
I've come across that wonder.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And that's
there's-
cool, man.
I'm
Again, like
I'm
live
going
how
to
you
avoid
want.
mentioning names because I don't want to give those faggots any more publicity. than
Like, listen, again, like live however you want, man. Just don't, like don't. I won't judge you. Just don't bring it in my yard. Like,
He just don't want you poking the bear, literally.
Yeah, please.
I mean,
Yeah,
unless
yeah,
the bear's into that.
There you go.
yeah. Don't poke the bear or the Martian. Mike the Martian. So we want to be free. We want to not be judged. We want to smoke weed and bear arms and
With
not
bear
give
arms.
it bear arms and not have to give all our money to the fucking state.
I want you and your gay furry husband to be able to protect your pot fields with fucking M60s and your M1 Abrams
Thank
and
you.
your tactical McNukes and keep every fucking dime you make in that weed farm, okay? That's it. That's my view.
That and I would, really like that's,
Agreed.
yeah. That's really what the world should be like. Unfortunately, it's not. And I think the realistic view is that it's going to take a long time to get to a compromise that gets us closer to that.
Yeah,
But
I mean, that's why I'm pushing for minarchy first.
Yeah.
Because
That's what I like to
there's
see.
no way we're gonna jump straight from this whole shit show that we're in,
People
to
have
where
to learn.
everybody is, yeah, people have to learn how to be independent of the state.
Well,
People have
yeah,
to
we've been
learn
indoctrinated
what
into this
freedom
thing.
is anymore, for fuck's sakes.
People are afraid of having to do it on their own. They'll have to fucking learn that they can, and they need it in small doses and encouragement with encouragement and shit. And I think that the libertarians and the minarchists are the best thing. I think you're totally right. I'm constantly saying they're the training wheels to anarchy.
Yep.
If a law is unjust, break that motherfucker.
I'm gonna
Absolute
Become
get
so
fucking
people
free
they're
that
living
your
in
very
anarchy now.
existence is a problem for the state.
Personally, I feel like we've had the blood of tyrants water the tree long enough.
You mean
Or no, I'm sorry, the blood of patriots, and it needs to be
Yeah.
refreshed with the blood of tyrants at this point.
Yeah, it's had too
That's
much. If you get the
personal.
fucking mix wrong, who knows what'll happen?
Yeah, let me
Yeah.
that.
Well, that's a perfect statement on Veterans
You
Day.
understood what I meant.
Yep, we got where you're going. I
Yo,
am Duncan Lemp.
And that's, you know,
I am Chris Ledbetter.
we
I could
we
continue for an
continue
hour.
to create situations where citizens die over nothing. We continue to create wars in other countries where our brothers, sisters, fathers, go to war and become veterans and they die, or they come home and they're fucked up mentally, physically, spiritually. And those are our patriots, and it's got to end. It's really got to end.
Yeah.
Selling people a dream to get them to enlist in the military and not telling them how fucked up their life is going to be after.
I almost got fucking suckered into it.
Some people make a good life in it, but when you were told to go to war, you follow orders and that's it, and there's no telling what's going to happen to you. This is your life.
I mean, from what I understand, drone operators, for example, are almost a bigger portion of the 22 reported suicides a day than ground troops, because the drone operators watch the fucking missiles hit the kids and shit.
They're literally mass murderers. Like the government literally makes them mass murderers.
Yeah. And they were, it's not their fault. They didn't know what they were going to hit. They were told, oh, this is an enemy stronghold. This is enemy barracks. This is an enemy stockpile or weapons cache or whatever. And it's just homes with fucking families in it. Now, I will also say it's absolutely fucking disgusting that the enemy is willing to hide these weapons behind that to fuck up our guys. Like, hey, let's put fucking caches of weapons in hospitals and schools, so when they blew it up, they blowing up kids or the patients in the hospital and what have you. But neither side's leadership is right in that, and we just need to cut this shit flat out. It's fucking up everyone on all sides, and it needs to fucking stop. We need, as Americans, to put our fucking foot down and tell Congress, and I mean, I'm sure in large part with Les Warhawks getting in office and staying in office lately, that we're actually starting to fucking get the hint as Americans that we have the ability to tell our government to stop the fucking killing.
Some of us have that idea. A lot of us are still behind.
Well, I think the silent majority has been less silent lately. and I think that that'll help. But we got to keep that momentum going.
Yeah.
All those voices need to be heard.
Oh, liberties.
Liberties.
God damn it.
I thought it was dying for a minute, and then
Ooh.
that just, it fucking skyrocketed again, and I fucking love.
Ooh,
I
bulge for
love
liberty.
Mm. I love the other countries that have a weather channel where the weather girl strips while she's giving the
Wow.
news. That's amazing. I watch the fucking weather. Like, I don't watch the weather otherwise. That's fucking great. And look,
What?
they should have a dude up there too for all the chicks. Like, it's all good, man. You
Yeah,
seen
chicks
one, you
like
seen
it
them
for
all.
you,
I mean,
too.
there's some dudes that look like they got a third leg or a fucking pogo stick, but I ain't ashamed. I made my babies. My wife's happy. It's cool. I'm Irish. Like whatever, man.
Hey, you know what you're doing with your stubby little shillelagh there.
I might not bottom out, but I'll fuck the sides up.
Oh God.
Here we go.
So I think to wrap up tonight, the country's headed in a direction that we're fond of. In some parts of the country, other parts of the country are going further left than we've ever seen. There's definitely a divide. Hopefully, as Americans, we can bridge that divide and come back together somewhere. But it's going to take time. Everything takes time.
And effort. We can't just sit on our asses and hope it happens.
Oh, it won't be.
Yeah, you can't twiddle our fucking thumbs here.
Nope.
That-
Late nights talking to each other, recording it, putting it on wherever, just like we are now. Getting together in person, the libertarian parties in my state, they've been getting together. We've been finding places to get together so we can talk. Other people that just want to get together and like get to know each other. People from all walks of life have come together more and more lately that never knew each other before. And, talking about what they do for a living, what they know, what maybe we should be doing, throwing out ideas. These are all things that like they're pushing us to do because they're shutting us down in different places. But it's like helping too. It's like actually a big help because I've had more face-to-face meetings with people in the last 6 months than I have in the previous years.
They're driving us out into the open to see each other.
Yep.
That's
They're pushing us all out of our mom's basements.
Ah,
Uh-oh.
you guys
Watch
have
out,
seen my
world.
office. I've been out of mom's basement for a long time. Actually, it was dad's basement because mom's a nut.
Well,
A loose one at that.
unfortunately, my mom's a nut, and I still had to escape her fucking basement.
So, any closing ideas, guys?
I would definitely like to talk at least a little bit about the, of course, biggest current event, dealing with Dominion and the shit show in Philadelphia where all the Republican poll watchers were being kept out. But I mean, we can just really discuss it briefly because I'm sure everybody's fucking sick of it. But I mean, it being the most prevalent news topic at the time, we should probably at least say a few words on it today.
I can't believe everybody's upset over something that doesn't even fucking count.
No matter who wins, we all lose.
That's right.
Government wins the election every year.
Yep. My biggest I guess, issue with outside with this, outside of the fact that it's showing more and more that it's completely irrelevant is how blatant they have gotten with the disregard for the Constitution and the will of the people. And on the bright side, how so many people are actually learning about various levels of the freedom movements
Yeah.
from this bullshit.
It's great.
It's do
It is like
it's actually finally waking people up.
I'm really enjoying watching different sides of sides of the table of the liberty movement come together too. Like that in itself is entirely just it fucking excites me. It gets my fucking hair on my arms rising.
Oh, yes, it
Fucking
does.
shit. And we need to keep making that happen, and we need to make that happen everywhere. And if somebody's not making that happen where you are, you need to go fucking make that shit happen.
That's right.
Get your boots on the fucking ground.
I spend more time, I used to spend a lot of time on social media doing things and trying to get together with people and whatever. And the
It
banning,
can be useful.
it can be, but the banning, all that did for us was push us to get together more locally. And so on
Under
a
that
local
tree.
level,
We're more connected than ever.
we're more connected than ever on a local level. And that's exactly what it needs to be, right? So any change in government starts with the smaller governments. It starts locally. It starts in your towns. It starts with people, and it's really created a situation where the people are coming together in much smaller groups in their communities. I think that's perfect.
I mean, hell, one. Sorry, you finish your thought.
No, that was it. I'm good.
Oh, okay. Hell, one thing that surprised me is now I'll admit she was the Democrat that was running for my local rep seat, because my local rep is retiring. She's done. She's staying out of it. But she walked through the line asking people's opinions, seeing what issues they had during this election, and I was fucking astounded. I've never seen anybody do that.
Not in a long fucking time.
I tell you what though, this whole putting people on lists like some fucking I don't know what the hell is up with that shit, but that is some fucked up shit, and I don't like the fucking flavor of it. That feels like a bad game starting.
I was
Put my
supposed to
name on
go.
as many lists as you like, AOC.
I know. I'm on some lists, and actually,
I think
was
we're all on pretty much I mean, like, whatever.
Well, they have like a firearms offender list in my state, and I was supposed to register while I was on probation, and I'm like, "Fuck you! I'm not registering. You want me on that list? You put me on it. But fuck yourself."
Uh-huh.
And
Why the fuck would anyone put themselves on the fucking list? That's
Right.
retarded.
So for 2 years, I was like a really easy probationer, right? Like I own a business, I have a family, I don't do drugs, like I pay my taxes, fucking whatever. I never got in trouble. But the one thing my probation officer asked me fucking every time he saw me was like, did you go on that list yet? And I'm like, no. He's like, well, you got to go on there. I'm like, I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
And like,
No.
he said, well, I can violate you. I'm like, okay, violate me.
Well,
Like,
we're waiting.
I love the way
Yeah,
they
right,
say
right.
it.
Yeah, right. Like,
Jeez.
and I think it was kind of like my don't give a fuck attitude that he was just like, okay, and like never pushed the issue. Like he was just like, fuck it, this guy is not having it, dude. Like,
Okay.
whatever. Which is great. I'm great that he observed that. Like, I just like in that one little way, I was just not going to be governable. Like, fuck you. You want me on a list? You put me there.
He's like, out of all these morons and all these problems, this is not one I'm gonna fight right now.
Right.
Back in the way, I didn't. I see nothing,
this
I
hill is
hear
not one I wish to
nothing.
die on.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So at any rate, I do.
Hills to die on. What did you guys think about that thing with Mike Dunn? Do you think that was too much? You think that was fucking
Which thing?
rad or what? Uh,
When he got arrested, or has there been something more recently?
I don't know. Like,
I
I
remember
saw
the
on Twitter. I
Newport
saw on
News?
Twitter. Hold on, let me look on Twitter real quick. I gotta get the facts straight. I gotta go to the twatter.
well there was
All right,
there was
so
several occasions with Mike where he was like,
He's
"Is this
always
the one
doing
you
something,
wanna
so I gotta
see
make
the hill
sure.
that you're gonna die on?
Yeah, that one. Which
This will
one
be the
was
one that
that?
I'll die
I've
on."
got them all
Mike
mixed
wants to
up.
die on every hill.
I don't.
Like,
Yeah, I was
seriously,
a
dude.
fan for that.
Oh, I
Not
was on
everyone
the
agrees with Mike, but I gotta tell you, like, the overall ideology, like, I get it, man. And as much as he can be like, what's the word, an accelerationist at times, like, I'm with him. Like, overall, I'm with him, you know?
I
Yeah,
guess
Fuck
you know,
that.
your 20 your 10, 15, 20 round magazine capacity is definitely a hill I'm going to make sure you die
Can't
on.
have too many fucking tweets, y'all.
Yeah, fuck Twitter. So the last thing I knew about was the protest in Newport News. The chief of police brought out a loudspeaker for him because he had been arrested at a
Mountain
libertarian
Dew and
rally.
chicken nuggies.
What's
Oh
that?
no, it was chocolate milk and fucking Mountain Dew.
Chalky milk and Mountain Dew.
Yeah, jockey milk and chicken nuggies.
I don't know. I think that we need multiple loud, bold voices. I'm just worried someone's gonna fucking hurt the kid. Like I like him. He's got gumption.
Which is one reason why I've been a lot more vocal myself lately, just to give us another voice. Not
We
that
need
I'm trying to
more
take away from
voices.
Mike at all, but
Well, the
we
I
just
mean,
thing
hell,
need
that's
is,
why I went to
more voices.
Harrisburg this past weekend. I'm so pissed that I couldn't fucking film it.
more voices means the louder message. And if we have many voices and they try to silence one of us, then we all just start screaming all the louder. And I think we should
I mean,
encourage
hell,
voices of
We're
me,
at a
amplifiers.
point
me and
where
my
we
guys
need
were
to be louder than
literally
everyone else.
me and my guys were literally standing on the steps of the Capitol screaming, "Freedom!"
That's
We need
awesome.
more of that in Connecticut. Like we're
Yes.
lucky. We're lucky to get like 200 people at a rally. Like we're lucky to get that. And there's millions of people in this state, and just no one gives a fuck. And then we have protests that are protesters that are protesting against us for protesting. And I'm like, don't you understand what we're trying to do here, you dummies? Like, we're here
Yeah,
for you too, you fucking jackasses, man.
yeah. I mean, you cool. You
Oh,
think we 3%ers are all fucked up, and yes, that's who I was with. My crew of
not
troopers.
I
all.
don't
But
think so.
it's well, no. I'm saying from their perspective, like the
Oh,
Antifa perspective,
fuck! I know
because
there's good
they're
people.
driving, yeah, they're driving through town screaming "fucking Nazis, fascist pigs, go fucking die" as they're driving past, and it's like, dude,
I,
we are here protesting so that your vote gets fucking counted. We are here protesting so that the government hears our collective voice.
oh my God. I see. I haven't had to worry about that too much. Like I've seen some counter protesters show up at some of the things going on here, but like it's always only like a few people, and like people try to talk to each other here. So I'm spoiled on that one. Nobody's like, it's Karens that get mad because people aren't wearing masks and shit.
Yeah, they weren't. They certainly were not talking to us.
Oh my god!
It was very much a one-sided thing because Pennsylvania is very much divided,
Very divided.
and reinforcing the divide is the bigger issue. Um, especially, oh, your guys saw the polls. Oh, your guys, blah blah blah. You're here protesting in favor of Trump. You're here, blah blah blah, protesting for racism and all that. It's just like,
What?
are You can sit here and listen to our message. We are literally saying it. We are sick of the government ignoring the fucking Constitution. But on the other hand, they have articles where they're saying burn the fucking Constitution. So really, it's
I
I think
mean,
they're trying to push towards a
mostly on them.
so they can rewrite the Constitution, honestly. I think if there's a civil war, the government can do a full reset and then they could just get rid of the Constitution. I almost
Oh,
wonder if they're pushing us in
The,
that direction.
the thing is, they
that would
don't
be
want
a
to get rid of
terrible
the
idea.
Constitution.
that'd be the day.
Yeah, they don't want to get rid of the Constitution and, just let people be free. They want to fucking get rid of the Constitution and set up the American CCP.
Right.
So you boys better start drafting.
Oh, Liberty Vanguard's been working on some shit
Oh,
for a long time.
I'm supposed to be the rep for the Vanguard here in Connecticut still.
Oh, nice.
Well, I started off
You should
that way.
probably you should probably look back into that and see what's going on.
Worst case scenario, that's available.
Yeah. No, I've had some conversations about it. Just with any voluntary society, you're going to run across people that don't agree. And there was some disagreements, so I stepped back for uno momento, por favor.
yeah.
Yep.
It happens. It's
Yeah.
natural.
Yeah, right. So, plus, not to mention, like there's not a whole lot in my state, right? Like, that's the bigger issue that I have is that the only guys that are here are like either super young and it's hard for me to deal with them. And even then, there's only, a handful, 6 or 8 guys.
Yeah.
Everybody else
Hey,
is reapers,
5
oath
to 9,
keepers.
5 to 9 is all you need for a fucking freedom cell.
Yeah, very
That's
true.
all I got.
Five
You know,
to
ones
Easy,
that are
easy with the
actually
C word, Mike, for fuck's sake.
Oh, what? Oh, look, it's not a terrorist thing. Go to freedomcell.org.
Libertarian group.
It's peaceful.
Libertarian group.
It's peaceful, voluntarist shit. I swear.
I'm like the only one that shows up to the Libertarian Party meetings in this shirt, and they love it. They love it. I think I had 5 guys that went to a protest, but I
We're
think
gonna
one of them
start
was
having
a state or a Fed, because like he
Listen.
disappeared. It was very weird.
We've been having
That was
Zoom
another
meetings
issue.
and I hate it.
What's that?
We've been having Zoom meetings and I fucking hate it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I want to
know it.
be face to face with people again.
Yeah. I mean,
I want to be able to sit down across from you and have a motherfucking beer and talk freedom.
That's what we've been doing.
I was trying to talk with my local PB, and they're just like, "Oh, we got some red flags about you." So even though initially they let me join, then it's like, nope, we changed our mind immediately thereafter. I'm like, okay, whatever. Right now is when groups of our nature should be trying to organize, trying to coordinate, trying to fucking get in touch with each other. But hey, let's make more distance, while all the fucking violent pieces of shit out there are rioting more and more and more in the streets and organizing and coordinating and developing leadership and friendship with each other. And yep, that's exactly because my flavor of freedom is not 100% yours.
I just had a meeting
totally
with about.
dissociate.
I just had a meeting with about 24 guys. They're pretty much all trades guys. Some of them are computer geeks. Some of them are active or inactive military. So we come from different walks of life, but the overall consensus was liberty and freedom, the right to live how we want, and then also like sharing resources and knowledge and seeing how we can help each other move forward in a liberty movement. So there's no real affiliation with anyone but each other, which is the basis of a voluntary society, which was really great. That was one of the biggest meetings we've had, and it was semi-local. But then on a local level, you know, you got, if you've got anywhere between 25 and 50 guys, that's all you need. Guys, gals, whatever. That's all you need to get started and get a message out, and it's slowly happening.
Yep. If you want to organize, especially if you know, you're in Eastern Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, New York, I am more than happy to hook you up with whoever. If you're in my local area or wherever the fuck you are, and you've managed to watch your whole way through this, shoot me an email, concretehades@gmail.com. I will fucking hook you up with whoever you need to be local. Whether it be to you, to me, to Colonel, Mikey, Galaxy, Abby, Dugan if he's still here and not dead.
Yes, please. I
Yes.
need more Louisiana-minded folk that are on the fucking straight mind of fucking liberty and freedom, because I'm feeling mighty lonely down here with the few guys that I got. No offense to them, I love them all to death, but we need some more help.
The
Yeah.
freedom movement is all across America. Hit me up.
Yes, it is.
I'll find you where you need to be.
We'll make this shit happen.
Well, and they've made it a little bit harder, but again, they pushed us on a local
Fuck
level.
'em.
So as
Got-
long as
Yep.
there's one or two people that are connected more than locally to other people, you know, that are connected to their people locally, as long as we're all interconnected by one or two people in each place, we're good to go. You know, it's almost like having your own representatives at that point, with each other in the freedom movements, regardless of what affiliation you choose. Most of the groups say the same thing, like, you know, some are affiliated, non-affiliated, but at the end of the day, it's all about liberty and freedom.
Yeah.
That's what I'm down for. Liberty or death.
Fuck yeah.
And I fucking mean it.
I'd much rather liberty, but we'll see how it works out.
Oh, okay, there we go. Now you can read it.
I'm waiting for the stack of Fed boys.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, so I'm ready, guys. I'm ready to say goodnight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Before we go,
Crash.
moment of
Have a good night,
silence.
everybody.
For the veterans.
Yep. Since we're a little late, but oh well. All right, folks.
Been good talking to you fellas. Love you guys.
Oh, yeah.
All right,
Have a
boys.
good night.
See y'all
Love all
later.
you guys. Good night.
Keep your heads on a fucking
Take
swivel,
care.
fellas.